Hello, this is Mrs. Ross and this is Investigation 5. In Investigation 5, we're going to be focusing on different types of graphs, bar graphs or histograms, pie graphs, line graphs, that kind of thing. So I'm going to walk you through how to do Investigation 5. You're going to want to watch this entire video before you start. And then if you want to go back and watch it as you complete it, that will be fine. If you look up here, it says this investigation will consider 4 kinds of graphs: histograms, bar graphs, double line graphs, and pie graphs. So the very first one that we're going to take a look at is what we call a histogram. And what's different between a histogram and a bar graph is, well, they're actually very similar, but you'll see that there's a range. I'm down here. You'll see there's a range. It says a histogram is a special type of bar graph. There's no spaces between the bars, and it shows equal-sized intervals. So for each of these intervals, 0 to 9, 10 to 19, there's 9 units, right, for each of these intervals. So what they've done in this example, this is the height of the bars in the, okay, so this example is scores, and this is a stem and leaf. So we know that the scores are 21, 23, 25, etc. If you've done your investigation for stem and leaf, this is going to make a lot more sense. Okay, and so then they grouped them. So all of the scores that are 20 to 29, they put here, and there's 6 of those. All of the scores from 30 to 39, they put here, and there are 10 of those, etc. Okay, and then what they're going to do is they're going to change the intervals. So let's go to the next page and change colors. Oh, sorry, I thought they were going to change the intervals on us. But you can change the intervals. So, oh, I think we did. This is the first thing you're going to do. It says make a new histogram for the test scores from the same stem and leaf plot. So the stem and leaf plot that's back here on the first part, it's on the same page in your investigation. But use the following intervals: 21 to 28, 29, and you see that here. So let's do the 29 to 36 together, and you can do the rest. Let's go back. Okay. I'm going to erase that because we don't need it. Okay, and they've already done 21 to 28. We're supposed to do 29 to 36, so let me write that somewhere. We're supposed to do 29 to 36. So they did 21 to 28, so they've done all of these. We're supposed to do 29, which there is no 29, to 36, so not those. So I have 30, 30, 32, 32, 34, 35, 36, 36. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let me go here. So there's 8 scores between 29 and 36. Here is 8. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my bar up to 8 to show there's 8 scores, and then color that in. Okay, and you'll do the same with 37 to 44. 45 to 52, 53 to 60. How many, and it's basically you're graphing how many scores are in this range, how many scores are in this range, and how many scores are in this range. Okay. So histograms and other bar graphs show comparisons, and sometimes they can be misleading. I've lost my thing. There we go. For example, the graphs below show the exact same information, but the scale on the side of the graphs make it look very different. So we have car sales. Year 1, 500 units were sold, and year 2, 600 units are sold. Here it looks like a huge difference because it starts at 400 and it ends at 6. Here, same number, 500 units sold, 600 units sold, but it goes from 0 to 600. So it doesn't look like quite a big difference. We need to be super careful of this whenever we're reading a graph, say, on a test or on the news or in a publication, because this makes it look like it's a huge difference and this makes it look like it's not that big a difference. We need to be aware of that possibility of what it's going to look like. Okay, so A said, or I'm sorry, 2 says, and I've lost my, there it is. Which of the 2 graphs exaggerates the growth from one year to the next? So which graph, either graph A or graph B, makes it look like it's a huge difference? And you'll write that number here. or letter, sorry. And then where does the vertical scale, this is the vertical scale, where does it start and where does it end? For graph A, and then where does it start and where does it end for graph B? Okay, it says, how was the exaggerated visual effect created? Graph A creates the impression that sales doubled because the vertical scale starts at, well, you have that right here, instead of at this. Okay, so this number will go there, and this one will go here. Okay, please remember that you can pause these videos. You can stop them altogether. You can re-watch them if you need to. So number 3, Larry made a bar graph. So this is Larry's bar graph. The first one shown that compares his amount of reading with Josella's. Complete the second bar graph showing the same information in a less misleading way. The interval lines for the second graph are every 10 minutes. So this is 10, this is 30, this is 50. Okay. Larry read for 48 minutes, so almost to 50. And Josella wrote for 40, or read for 41. So she's going to be just a little bit over 40. And you're going to draw that here. Okay? All right, double line graph. So this is the second type of graph that we're going to be talking about. Line graphs show changes over time. And a double line graph shows two different things that are changing over time. For example, the graph below shows what happens to a $1,000 investment. If I have $1,000 and I invest it in something that's compounded 7%, I'll get one line. Actually, I think it's the other one. Sorry. And then if I invested in something that's compounded at 10%, I get another line. Okay. You don't have to understand what compounded annual interest rate is to know that these are two different lines and they're two different accounts, I guess. So you could say one account and the second account that grow at different rates. All right. So double line, double means two. We have two lines, the one at 7% and the one at 10%. Okay, so this is where you're going to make a double line graph. And there's actually a typo on this. So follow me along. Let me get a different color here. It says make a double line graph using the information on the table below. Label the horizontal axis with the year. So I have 93 and 98. So 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. And you'll have to do that on your paper. So I've labeled the horizontal axis. Label the vertical axis with the stock value in $2 increments from 28 to 50. Okay, so it's every $2. So this is 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, and you'll do this 50, and it just has to go to 50. So we're good. Wait, lost my thing. Where'd it go? Oh boy. There we go. Okay. So that's done. Use the key to show the difference between the two line graphs. So when it says the key, it's kind of like a legend. For XYZ company, we're going to use a dashed line. For ZYX company, we're going to use a solid line. Okay. The stocks of XYZ and ZYX. So we're good. Here's the problem. This says XYZ and XYZ. ZYX. Okay. So that's how we're going to change that. That's going to be our ZYX. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plot your XYZ and you're going to plot ZYX. And you'll have to actually plot both of them on your investigation. But right now we're going to do one at a time. So XYZ is here. So I know in 1993 we were at 30. So good. They've got that first one for you. So we did that. In 94, I'm at 36. So this is 94. There's 36. This is my my dashed line. So we did that. In 95, we're at 34. So here's 95. 34 is here, right? There it is right there. There's my dashed line. Okay. In 1996, I'm at 46. So let's see. 46 is right here. There's 46, so I'm going to draw my line up. And then in 97, I'm at 50, which is right there. And in 98, I'm at 50. So this is going to go like this. And I've done it. You're going to do the same thing with ZYX Corp. As a matter of fact, you can pause this and you can do all this on your paper if you need to. Just make sure that it's a not a dashed line, it's a straight line. And let me know if you have any questions on that one. Pie graph. So this is our third type. A pie graph is a circle graph often used to show parts of a whole, not just a budget, but a whole thing. So the entire circle is 100%. You can see in this pie graph that it happens to be a monthly income allocation or just a budget where they're going to spend 5% of their income on clothing, 10% they're going to put in savings, 10% in contributions, etc. So the parts of the circle show what percent of the budget is used for certain things. To make the sectors of the circle the right size, so if you'll remember from one of our former investigations, a sector of a circle is just like this little pie piece right here. That's a sector. Each of these is sectors. First, you have to find out the percent of the entire circle. So we know this is 10% of the whole thing. Change that percent to its decimal or fraction form, and then multiply by 360. We're going to be doing this on the next page. Then you use a protractor for the right number of degrees. And we'll be doing that on the next page as an example. So there's an example, but let's go to the next page and do this. Okay, the first thing you're going to need to do on your page, this is make a pie table that shows how Carrie spends her school day, and then find the number of degrees for each angle. So we're going to do this table first. The first thing you do is all of these need to be made into decimals. So the first thing you do, it's right here, you change the percent to a decimal. How do you do that? You divide by 100. Okay, so I'll do the first couple. So 10 divided by 100 gives me 0.10. You can see I'm not multiplying it. 5 divided by 100 is 0.05. 0.05. Okay, then I'm going to need to multiply by 360 to figure out what the degrees of the central angle is going to be. So let's see, 0.1 times 360 is 36 degrees, and 0.05 times 360 is half of that, 18 degrees. This is where it gets actually interesting, or more difficult, I should say. So we're supposed to use a ruler and a protractor, or just a protractor, it's got a side on it, to measure these out and label each correctly. So hold on a minute. I'm going to see if I can't get let me see what I can do. Hold on. Okay, it won't let me out. So this is what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to draw a protractor. It's going to be beautiful. We're probably going to have to go over this a little bit in class. But I'm hoping that this will be helpful if you are doing this outside of class. So here's the protractor. There's a hole in the protractor and it has a line that goes here and a line that goes here. We want something that's 36 degrees to show her recreation time. So this starts at 0, and I'm going to go up. This is 10, 20, 30. Let's say 36 is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. Okay. And then I take the protractor away, and I draw that line. Oh, I'm going to run out of time. So this is for recreation, and this is 10%. All right, hold on for part 2.